You don't realize that you still carry financial trauma until money enters a relationship because your body reacts before your mind does. Now, you can be successful, independent, and self aware and still feel activated, contracted, or triggered when money moves inside a relationship. Here are 6 moments where it shows up, where it started, and how it stops you from progressing. The first one is when you're on a date and the bill comes. So you feel this before you see it. The waiter is coming with the bill. You've had a really great dinner and he places it down and your stomach begins tightening. You hope that he just reaches for it immediately. You hope that he just takes initiative and that you can feel relief. And if he does, you feel really grateful. But then you start thinking, do I owe something in return? Do I need to prove my independence in other ways? Do I need to prove that I'm not a gold digger? And if he doesn't reach for it and there's silence, you start thinking, is he generous? Is he testing me? And your mind just goes on and on and on. And this moment actually traces back further than you think, and it's got nothing to do with money, finances, or the bill. You might have grown up in circumstances or been in rooms where you watched money create tension at home. Maybe gifts were followed by control. Maybe provision came with emotional withdrawal. Maybe you learned that nothing is free. So now when a man pays or doesn't, your body is asking, what will this cost me? Is he going to give to me? What do I need to give back? Why is he not choosing me? What have I not done right for him to not pay? Because somewhere within you, money, transaction, and obligation were all fused together. The second one is when he earns more than you and you start comparing. So he tells you about a bonus. He's doing really well at work. He's got a raise, he's got an investment that's paid off. And as you're listening to this, you're genuinely happy for him and you mean it. It's both of you in it together. But then something else arrives. There is a quiet comparison. You think about the years that maybe you've spent in the wrong job or the business idea that you didn't pursue or the risks that you postponed, or maybe you gave a lot of your time and effort to raising a family and you start feeling that familiar sudden compression in your chest. On the surface, it feels like jealousy, but it actually is not. It's actually grief. You don't want what he has. You want to feel what he feels in your own life. You want to feel momentum, expansion, validation, and his success is now a mirror. And instead of you just sitting back and celebrating, you start measuring yourself. And this is traced back where you would have felt that achievement is what equals safety, and achievement is what equals approval, and progress means that you're not losing ground emotionally. Maybe you feel that pressure to keep up with your partner. Maybe you were praised in your childhood for potential compared to others. Maybe you learned that worth rises and falls with performance. So as he's doing well and you're not doing as well, you start thinking, am I still worth it? And as he expands, your body starts scanning. You start thinking, am I behind? Am I wasting time? Am I less than now? This isn't about him earning more. This is about what this moment awakens in you, which is probably a fear of being left behind, a fear of being less valuable, a fear that time is running out. And that reaction is not envy. That is old pressure resurfacing. The third one is when you earn more than him. Maybe you're the one that's having a really strong month. Maybe a contract has gone really well, your launch has gone amazing, you've got new clients, your numbers are solid, and he asks you, how's work going? And you want to say it's going amazing and you want to celebrate with him, but you actually start playing this down. You start saying things like, it's good, and I've been lucky, maybe it's really good timing, maybe it's an exception, and you feel this impulse to truly soften your work and how well you're doing because you just don't want to feel that shift in the room. You don't want the dynamic in your relationship to change. You don't want him to feel small. So you start reducing yourself in advance. You start laughing it off, changing the subject, making it lighter. And later on, when you're alone, you feel it. You feel that slight resentment. And it's not anything to do with him. It's to do with the fact that your expansion and your success still feels dangerous to you. Somewhere in your body, growth equals disruption, visibility equals tension, outperforming the people around you equals loss of connection. So you start hiding the true scale of your success, not because you can't do what you want to do or because you lack confidence, but because your nervous system equates expansion with relational risk. And until that changes, you will keep editing your power, especially inside friendships, intimacy, and family relationships. 4 is when you ask for financial clarity. So, couples really do need to talk about finances and the future, savings, spending habits, debt plans before it actually becomes conflict. But when you want to bring it up, your throat feels dry, your chest tightens, you start rehearsing the sentences in your head, you start softening how you want to come across because you don't want to sound pushy or materialistic or awkward. And you just start managing the whole conversation before he even has a chance to respond. You might be using all the right words, but underneath what you're saying, there is a tension that can be truly felt. This reaction rarely starts in adulthood. It started in rooms where money conversations created tension, where questions were met with irritation, where don't worry about it, I'll handle it means stop asking, and where silence replaced transparency. So now, even in a stable relationship, your body anticipates this friction. Clarity feels risky, and security feels like something you have to gently approach and you have to earn. This is not about money. This is about the right to feel stable and secure. The fifth one is when he gives you something expensive. It might be a trip, a piece of jewelry, help with something significant, and you feel genuine gratitude. And then something heavier happens. You might get a tightening, low in your stomach, a quick calculation in your mind, thinking, how do I match this? How do I balance this? I gave him this month, and he gave me two things that month. How do I make sure that this doesn't place me below him? And all the while, you're thanking him, but your body is so alert. You're scanning your future. You're thinking about, will this be referenced later? Will this change the dynamic? Will I owe something unspoken? And instead of relaxing into the provision, you start bracing. Instead of enjoying the gift, you manage it. This does not start in adulthood. It starts in environments where generosity was not neutral, where gifts came with expectations, where money was later used as leverage, where you had to perform in a certain way to even get gifts in the first place, and where support could be withdrawn at any time and love had a price tag attached to the behavior. So now receiving activates hypervigilance. You don't just feel grateful, you start feeling exposed. Your body prepares to repay before you've even unpacked the gift. Not because he's done anything transactional, but because somewhere in your memory, receiving really isn't safe, and provision will always feel like pressure on you to return something. Number 6 is when he does not give you anything at all. He splits everything exactly evenly, or he avoids picking up the bill altogether, or he's super vague about money and he's non-committal, non-generous, non-clear. Your body starts reacting, and it's not always with anger. It's a quiet disappointment. It's a quiet and heavy drop. You feel unchosen, unprioritized, unprotected, and this feeling is more than familiar. And two things can happen. You can just start feeling responsible. You can start taking over, you plan, you cover the gap, you show that you're hyper independent and that you can be really efficient. And the second thing is you just start telling yourself, it's okay, you don't need anything. You know, your body starts working. You start believing that you can handle it all, and it's not his job or anyone else's job to give you anything that you secretly need. And this is most likely because you felt instability growing up. You felt financial tension, unpredictability, and withdrawal. And the way you dealt with it is by stepping up way beyond you were before you were meant to. You learned that if you don't step in, things fall apart. If you don't handle it, nobody will. So you became the capable, independent, low maintenance person, and needing something started to feel really dangerous. So now when a man does not provide or doesn't lead financially and you're not able to relax or soften, you start over functioning. And it's really not because you believe in 50-50 relationships or because you want to be dominant. Maybe you consciously don't know that this is what you actually want from a relationship. You are in such a habit of being the capable one, the hyper independent one, and provision just does not feel reliable and always tied to something. Financial trauma in relationships is never really about money and what money represented about love. Maybe it was control, scarcity, withdrawal, power, silence. So when money enters intimacy, your body starts scanning. Am I safe? Am I owned? Am I exposed? Am I indebted? Am I alone? And no, you're not overreacting, you're remembering. And until you can truly stay present in this activation without shrinking or overperforming or falling back into your old ways of proving, money will keep being this thing that shapes your relationships from underneath. And the situation might be current, but the imprint is not.